How do you get rich? How do you get filthy rich? How do you know what? Not even how do you get rich? How do you build wealth, right? How are you wealthy? How do you get your time back? How do you get your freedom back? And how do you make a ridiculous amount of money to where life doesn't even matter? You beat the game of life. How do you do it? So as you guys can see, it's literally 6 in the morning, right? I woke up around 5 today. I've just been working here for an hour. I wanted to make this video very raw, very authentic, and just speak my mind. I've achieved everything I've ever wanted in life. Literally sitting here in my dream apartment. I live in Miami, Florida. I have $600,000 worth of cars. I have $30 million worth of real estate, millions put away, offshore accounts. And, you know, there was a point in time, it was not always like this. There was a point in time where I was that young kid who was dirt poor and I wanted to get rich. Ever since a young kid, I wanted to get rich and I never knew how to do it. And it always seemed so far away, right? I mean, I'd go to my gas station job, make $10 an hour, right? And there was people buying $1 million cars. I was like, man, how do you close that gap, bro? Like, that is such a far gap, right? So you may be watching this video right now. You may be thinking the same thing. Like, the gap to what other people have achieved is so far from where I am now. And it's great to want to get rich. Trust me, that's great. Like when you get up and you're like, yo, I'm fired up, I want to make a ton of money, that's awesome. But you have to unlearn that mindset to actually get rich. And I'm going to tell you why, and I'm going to tell you my experience on how I got rich and how you can implement this as well. And getting rich is not about money. It's not thinking about money. It's not being motivated. It's none of that stuff. You may be thinking, Adam, what the hell are you talking about? I'm here to tell you exactly how to get rich, right? The reason you're chasing money is the reason that you are not rich. Let that sink in for a second. The reason you're chasing money is the reason why you are not rich. I'm gonna give you guys a perfect example of what I mean by this, right? When I woke up this morning, I did not want to get out of bed, right? Alarm went off, I'm mid-dream. This happens every single morning. I'm literally like deep in the middle of like a dream and it feels like I'm watching a movie and it is very hard to pull myself out of that dream and wake up. So I don't want to get out of bed, right? I don't want to, but I am the type of person who does what needs to be done regardless of how I feel. The more you can become that person, the more success is inevitable, right? And I've done that, you know, to this point this morning, and I will continue to do that my entire day. What do I mean by that? I get out of bed. I didn't want to get out of bed. I definitely did not want to get out of bed. But what I did is I thought in my mind, I was like, hey, I'd really like to stay in bed right now. I recognized that thought and I gave that thought no power. And I acted on what I needed to do over how I felt in the moment. I got up. Right when I got up, I went to brush my teeth. I did not want to brush my teeth. Oh, water's cold, you know, this and that. I said, you know what? I acknowledged the fact that I did not want to brush my teeth and I brushed my teeth anyways. Right? I sat down at my desk. I don't like running numbers on my businesses, right? I don't like to do it. I like to have a bookkeeper do it, but it's important. So I said, okay, I'm going to sit down and do this for an hour, right? I didn't want to do it. I recognized and realized that thought, and then I did it anyways. Now we're here to the point where I'm making this video. And these 3 circumstances this morning are just a great example of that. And I'm going to paint you guys a picture how your entire day does not have to be all those moments where you don't want to do things, right? So how I look at my day is I got up, I didn't want to do it. I brushed my teeth, I didn't want to do it. I worked and I'm going to work for the next 4 hours, which I don't want to do, right? I mean, some days, yes, it's fun, you know, lock into work, whatever, do this and that. But most of the time, I mean, with this boring, like some of the deep work for my real estate businesses is not fun, right? So up until about 9 a.m., I'm doing things that I don't want to do, right? 9 a.m. hits and guess what? I get to go make a delicious, healthy breakfast, right? I love to do that. That's awesome. Then I get in the shower. I take a cold shower, which you might be thinking, oh, well, that's something I don't want to do, but I'm a little different. I actually like taking a cold shower, and I take a cold shower right before the gym to get me fired up. So that's something I like to do. Boom. So that's 2 things I like to do, right? Third thing, I get out of the shower and I come over and make a giant bowl of fruit to carb up before my workout, right? I make bananas. Well, I don't make them, but I cut up bananas, strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, and put cinnamon and honey on them. And as I'm doing that, I'll come over here to my computer and I'll put on like a song and like get fired up for the gym while I eat it. Love to do that, right? That's 3 things I like to do. 4th thing I like to do, I jump in my Lamborghini, right? And I drive to the gym and I have the top down, right? I have a convertible. I drop the top. I listen to music, I get fired up. Dude, I love that. Are you kidding me? I love that. So in my experience, right? So that's about 4 things that I didn't want to do this morning, and then 4 things that I did want to do this morning, and they took the same amount of time. The way I see life is you cannot be the person who drives to the gym in your Lamborghini with the top off, playing T Grizzly, getting fired up, and not do that stuff in the morning that you don't want to do. You have to earn, in my experience, you have to earn everything in life. Everything in life is earned. It makes me angry to see people, I don't want to say people who are like birthed into wealth, but there's a lot of people that wake up and they didn't grind, and their like parents are super loaded, and then they go and jump in a supercar, drive around and get coffee and do nothing all day. Bro, what did you do to earn that? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, that's an extreme example. Not hating on anybody who has money, right? Or you know, anything like that. You guys live your own life. But in my experience, right, throughout your day, you have to earn the good moments, right? So let's go through the rest of my day, right? I get to the gym, I get to hit a crazy back day, which is kind of half and half because I don't really enjoy hitting back that much, but I love going to the gym. So now we were at 4 things that I hated up until 9 a.m. and now up until about noon, right? Working out, like showering, going to the gym. I work out for about an hour and a half. That's another 4 things that I like doing, right? 4 things that I don't like until 9 a.m. Then 4 things that I like to do until noon. And then, you know, like that's another thing that I do like to do and don't like to do. So that's like 5 things each, right? Then I'll get back from the gym, work for another 6-7 hours, right? And then, you know, some of that I like to do, some of that I don't like to do. And then I like to go for a walk around the city of Miami, Florida, right? Around like 7 p.m. Love to do that. And then what I'll do is I will, you know, from like 8 to 9, because I usually go to sleep at 9 because I wake up at 5 and I love to get my 8 hours. And so for like the last hour of the day, I'll just do whatever, right? I'll like post on social media, call some friends, right? Chill out. Maybe, you know, I don't watch TV, but you know, maybe watch like YouTube for a little while or something. And I like to do that. So anyways, my point of all this is your success in life is how willing you are to be the person who just does what needs to be done and doesn't care that you don't want to do it. That is what success is about. So when you wake up in the morning, bro, when you go about your day to day, you need to turn off your brain, right? You need to literally be a robot and just do the things that you know you need to do because you know you need to do them, bro. You need to turn the part of your mind off that's saying, hey, I don't want to do this right now, and you need to become a man and do it. So here's the blueprint to getting disgustingly rich. How can you do it? Do not think about money. Do not chase money. Do not wake up in the morning and say, I want a lot of money. Do not think about money. Do not do any of that, right? Here is what you do instead. Make a plan for yourself the night before. And I'm going to use the example of going into the first day of the new year. Let's say the night before January 1st, right? December 31st. You make a list of the exact person that you want to be, right? You say, hey, I want to be, maybe you need to lose some weight. Maybe you say, I want to be, you know, I want to be 150 pounds and right now I'm 200. Maybe you say, I want to eat healthier. Maybe you be slamming Diet Cokes all day or something, right? Maybe you say, hey, I want 100K in my bank account and I do real estate, right? Like I want to hit 100K in my bank account off of real estate. So you make those 3 promises to yourself, right? And you say, okay, that's the person I want to be, right? Let's say in 6 months, I want to be the person who's 150 pounds, who's in great shape, and who has 100K in their bank account from real estate stuff, right? So when that alarm goes off the next morning at 5 a.m., right, bro, you are not going to want to get out of bed. Like that's when the night before you were motivated and you made all those goals out of motivation. That motivation will fade. That's why you cannot rely on thinking about money and thinking about getting rich and thinking about all this stuff, because that motivation is going to fade. That's where you need to build discipline, and that's when you need to wake up. When you wake up the next morning and you do not want to get out of bed, your first step is to turn off your mind, right? And you need to be willing. I told you, the more you're willing to do things that you don't want to do just because you know you have to do them and not because you want to do them, right? Success is going to be inevitable. So when you wake up the next morning, the first thing you do, shut your mind off, get out of bed, right? Go to the gym. You don't want to go to the gym, right? Because you're fat. You're 200 pounds and you want to be 150. And you made that promise to yourself, right? Oh, I want to be 150 in 6 months. So guess what? What do? You shut your mind off and go to the gym and do what the future you would thank you for right now. That is another key right there, right? So what I try to do is I do the things today that tomorrow me would be like, oh my God, like thank God that I did that, bro. Like perfect example. I drink a gallon of water a day, right? Sometimes over a gallon of water a day. And when I run out of gallons in my fridge, the second I run out, I go down and get more, go to the grocery store and get more gallons right in that moment. I don't save it for the next day because I know if I save it for the next day, I'm going to have a lot going on. I'm going to like want to head to the gym and want to grab my water and be like, dude, I don't have my water. And then I have to go to the grocery store and then buy it in that moment. And I've already drank my pre-workout. I'm already fired up. I'm already in that mindset to go right to the gym. And that's going to be a roadblock if I have to go get a water in between. That's just the way my mind works. And I know my mind works like that. So I know myself and I read myself, and that's what I do. So again, if you're trying to get rich, do not even think about money. Money does not matter. Motivation does not matter, right? You need to earn. If you want to be the guy who drives your supercar to the gym and has a bad bitch in the passenger seat and a bank account full of money, you need to be the one that earns that and the one that deserves that, right? And how you deserve that is making promises to yourself and keeping those promises. And in turn, that's what will give you confidence. And that's what gives me confidence, is because I make a promise to myself. As I told you before at the beginning of the video, it's 6:30 in the morning. I told myself last night I was going to wake up at 5 and I was going to work until 9, deep work, right? And make videos and make content and grind my real estate stuff. And guess what? I got up and did it. Do you think I wanted to get up and do that this morning? No, bro. I was mid-dream. I was like literally having the most vivid dream of my life. My alarm goes off. I want to go back to sleep and finish that dream and see what it's all about. But guess what? Life don't care about that, bro. Your bank account don't care about your dream, right? So I got up and I started working because I made a promise to myself last night that that's what I was going to do, right? And so when I walk around today and I put my $40,000 watch on and I get in my fucking supercar and I drive to the gym and I hit 5 plates on rows, right, for back day, I'm confident in the way I move. And it's you can see it in the way I move is because I make promises to myself and I kept them, right? While you told yourself you were going to get up at 5 a.m. today and grind, and you went back to sleep, that alarm went off and you went back to sleep. Oh, I can get up at 7. What's the difference? I can get up at 6:30. What's the difference? I can get up at 9. What's the difference? You know, I'm still going to have enough time to work. I'm more confident than you because you did that. And I know you did that. And I know I didn't do that. And that's why I'm more confident than you. And that's how you build confidence, right? And in turn, confidence comes, like with confidence comes wealth. With confidence comes opportunities. Think about it, bro. You can have like 5 dudes. Think of 5 dudes, right? Think of one who's really, really attractive, one who's like kind of attractive, one who's mid, and then 2 that are like a 4 out of 10. And then think of a girl walking down the street, beautiful girl. The 3 most attractive dudes in that group, let's say they're scared to go approach the girl, and then let's say the last 2, the ones that are like 4 out of 10, one of them is like, no, I'm not gonna do it, and the fourth one, the last one, the last 4 out of 10, he's like, you know what, bro, I'm gonna shoot my shot because I'm confident and I got nothing to lose. Like I'm too confident. I'm too confident in the point that I don't even care if I don't get her number. And that dude pulls up to her and gets her number, right? When the more attractive dude could have done it, right? But he was too scared. He didn't have the confidence to do it. And now that 4 out of 10 pulls a 10 out of 10 just because he was confident and funny and he was sincere in his ability. That's the way I see life. And that's going to give you opportunities that you will not get if you're not confident. If you're not confident, you're not going to get those type of opportunities, right? And that's in business too, bro. If you're too scared to ask for something, it's a 0% chance you're going to get it. If you actually ask for it, it's now a 50-50 chance you're going to get it, right? So that all translates into business. Everything translates into one another. Do you see what I mean? Earning the fun stuff in life, right? Driving your Lambo by doing the stuff you don't want to do, right? Being confident, keeping promises to yourself, doing things that you don't want to do when you know you have to do them. That's going to make you a beast in business. It's all relative. So again, to get rich, what you have to do is you get up and you turn off your mind and you do what needs to be done and not what you want to do, right? That is how you get disgustingly loaded. And you literally just do that. What success is, bro, is how many times can you make that decision? How many times can you say, okay, I'm going to do this and I don't want to do it? How many times in a row can you make that decision before, after a number of certain years, you are now the person who can make $1 million? When you want to make $1 million, you don't go chase $1 million. You don't say, okay, I'm going to go make $1 million. No, you wake up in the morning, you make promises to yourself, you fulfill those promises even when you don't want to. You wake up, I don't want to wake up, I did it anyways. I go to brush my teeth, I don't want to brush my teeth, I did it anyways. I go to sit down and do deep work for 4 hours, I don't want to do it, I did it anyways. How many days in a row, how many decisions like that can you make? And then after a certain amount of years, getting rich is inevitable because now you have built yourself into the person who can handle that type of money. Do you see what I'm saying? You cannot be a person who has no discipline. You wake up whenever you want. You eat whatever you want. Oh yeah, bro, I'm gonna touch $1 million. No, you're not, bro. You're not the person who can handle $1 million, right? Even when I, like, on my early journey of making money, and when I didn't know God and when I was a horrible person, I was making a little bit of money, don't get me wrong, but God stripped everything away from me when he realized that money was my everything. And what I was doing this all for was the money itself. I was not doing this all for the glory of God. I was not doing this all to get better, like to better myself and become a better person myself, right? Become the elite person, and then the money would be a byproduct of that. So when you're trying to get loaded, you make yourself into an unstoppable tank. That's why I love taking ice baths, bro. People, I don't need to sit in cold water to make money. You're right, you sure as hell don't. But do you know what it does? It's going to build your mental fortitude, and it's going to build your mental to the point where if you can sit in that ice bath for 5 minutes and just ignore your surroundings, bro, do you know what that does? Do you know how that correlates to business? If you can, the ice bath is the perfect principle. It's the perfect representation, because if you can ignore everything else and go right to where you need to go, that's what the ice bath teaches you. When you sit in that ice bath, bro, you ignore the cold around you and you learn how to shut your mind off, and you don't pay any attention to it. You literally don't give that ice bath anything. And if you can do that in life, and if you can do that in business, dude, you're unstoppable. Do you know how much money you can make? You are literally unstoppable. So those are the principles. That's how you get loaded. Again, the proof is in the pudding. Look at the kid. Look at my life. Look at what I've done. 23 years old. So, I mean, I'm not just making this stuff up. This is the actual theories and the actual, methods that I implement daily in order to touch ridiculous amounts of paper. I make millions of dollars per year. This is how I do it. I don't chase money. Nope. The last thing, I could care less about money, bro. I could care less about money. Literally could care less about it. And that's why I have so much of it, because I chase everything else first. I chase beautiful relationships with my family and with God. I build not just following God, but obeying God and giving my life to God. At this point, I have realized that it's no longer my plans, it's His. It is no longer my plans. It is the man upstairs, right? I may have a goal and a vision and a plan for my life, and one day I wake up and God instills a different idea in my mind. I'm switching directions completely. I was selling 100 houses a year in Massachusetts. I up and moved, bro, to Miami, Florida, because I had a calling. I don't care about money. I don't care about that business, bro. I don't care about that business. I'll leave that all behind, right? Because God is calling me somewhere else. And that is the most important thing. So again, building beautiful relationships, right? Not just believing in God, but obeying God, giving your life to God, right? Eating healthy, trying to eat better, trying to lift more weight than I could lift the day before, improving all aspects of myself, building emotional intelligence and building mental fortitude so that I can be the person that looks at a task and says, hey, I don't want to do this right now, but I'm going to do it. That is how you become unstoppable as a man, unstoppable as a person, and make a ridiculous amount of money. You chase all of those aspects that I just said first, and $1 million will follow you, bro. It will follow. You'll be running away from the $1 million, and it will be following you because you will have became that person who can handle that amount of money. That is the secret. So go run it up.